Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's continue with our C++ programming. So let me teach you how to create a new file. So let me create. It is test3.cpp and then enter. Always remember to type .cpp extension. Since it is a C++ programming language, you must always specify the extension used over here. Without wasting any of our time, let's get started. So firstly, we'll start with our if if statement. So if statements are generally used to check a condition, and with respect to that condition, set of instructions can be executed. Let me show you with an example. So first we'll include the standard library hash include IO stream and end it with a angle bracket. Next, I'll be continuously using cout statement, so better we make it as a function using standard scope resolution operator and cout and turn it with semicolon. Similarly, using standard scope resolution in operator and semicolon, and the execution of program begins with int main. And yeah, that's it. Curly braces. Now we'll type our program from here. So usually if statements are used to check the conditions. So I'll be declaring two variables such as int I is equal to 10, comma j is equal to 5. Yes. So I've declared a variable I which holds the value 10 and another variable j which holds the value 5. Both are of the data type int, that is integer data type. Now let me make use of the if statement. If the condition, always the condition is written within these brackets, I is greater than j. If I is greater than j, I want you to print cout, print the value of angle brackets, print the value of I. And for a new line, I'm going to make use of \n, terminate it with semicolon. When I save it and when I run it, you see value of 10 gets printed here. Now condition is checked. I is greater than j. Value of I is 10 and value of j is 5. 10 is greater than 5. Yes, that is true. So it enters the if statement and print the value of I. Now, similarly, there is another keyword called as the else. Else also checks the condition similar to that of if. So if I don't want to, if there are two conditions like this, there can be two conditions, that is I could be greater than j or j could be greater than I. So for the else part, similarly we enter the condition. So for the else part, we don't need to enter any condition. Yeah. Else it is understood that j is greater than I. So I want you to print cout and then j and then the new line semicolon. Yes, that's it. So when I save it and run it, value of 10 gets printed here, that is I is greater than j. Now when I change the value of I from 10 to 1 and save it and run it, you must see 5 gets printed over here. See, as you can see, 5 gets printed here because j is greater than I now, so it enters to the else part and prints the value of j. This is about if and else statements. Now let us study about loops. So let me continue here only. Loops. There are different kind of loop, while loop, for loop, and do while loop, etc. So let me start with the while loop. While loop. While loop also needs a condition to execute it. So let me give a condition as keep going. So before that, let me initialize keep going. I'll be taking a boolean data type with a variable name as keep going, which holds the value true. You know that boolean data type holds either value true or false. Let me initialize the value of the keep going variable to true. Now I'll be using curly braces again. While keep going, the value of keep going is true. While keep going, I want you to print cout welcome to this tutorial. Yeah. What the backslash n is that no one save it, and when I run it, you see an infinite loop going on, printing welcome to this tutorial. Continuously it goes on printing value welcome to this tutorial. As you can see, it doesn't stop. So to avoid this, we use of a break statement. To break the infinite loop, we make use of a break statement. So when I save it and when I run it, you see welcome to this tutorial gets printed over here. You must always specify the condition here. Condition can be anything. I have just used an example of keep going as a boolean function, as a boolean variable. You can give any type of condition here. So that's about the while loop. Now for the next, I'll be using the for loop. I'll tell you about the for loop. For loop is basically made up of three parts. We must initialize, then specify the condition, and then update the value. For loop is made up of three parts. Let me initialize first. Int x is equal to 0. This is known as initialization. I've created a variable x which holds value 0 and is of data type integer. So these, as I've said you, for loop is made up of three parts, and all the three parts are separated with the help of semicolon. Now I've initialized. Now for the condition, x is less than or equal to 10. Again a semicolon and x plus plus. Now from x, in the for loop, the value of x gets incremented by 1. Initially it is 0. It goes on incrementing the value 1 by 1 from 0 to 10. That is, initially x is 0, the next is it becomes 1 and goes on up to 10, because I specified the value here 10. Next, entering the for loop, I want to print the value of x, and yes. Now when I save it and run it, you will see values of 0 to 10, 0 up till 10 gets printed over here. See, as you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 gets printed over here. Similarly, you can give this any value up to 100. Let me show you. Save it and run it. See, all the values from 0 to 200 gets printed over here. That's about the for loop. Now for the next topic, let's do an exercise. I want you to compare. I want you. No. Before an exercise, let me tell you about this. Giving an input to the compiler. Wait a second. So let us do some exercise. Let me show you to create a program to compare two numbers. So let me clear this all. Yes. Now let me create. We'll be comparing two numbers, so I'm going to create a variable first number called as first number. Variable called as first number with the data type as int, and similarly int second number of the same data type int. Now see out and enter the first number. Enter the first number, backslash n, semicolon, and yes. Now we want to enter the first number. When we run this program, I want you to enter the first number. So for that we'll be using cin statement, and note that the angle brackets are reversed than that of cout. In the cin statement, first number, when I type first number, suppose you want to enter the 10, so the compiler prints enter the first number, you want to enter 10, that value 10 gets stored in the first number. That's the use of cin. It's similar to scanf in the C programming language. Now semicolon, and this, that's it. Now again we'll make use of cout statement, and then enter the second number, and then backslash n, semicolon, cin. Now the value of second number, I want to store it in this variable called as second number. So value of the second number gets stored in this variable. Next we'll be making use of if statement. If first number is greater than second number, I want to enter the if statement and type here cout first number is greater than second number. So it basically prints first number, the value of first number, what you have typed, that value gets printed here is greater than that of second number. So when I save it and when I run it, see, enter the first number. Let me enter first number as 10, second number as 3. So you can see 10 is greater than 3 gets printed over here. Similarly, if we'll check if second number is greater than first number, if second number is greater than first number, in that case I want to print cout second number is greater than first number. Terminate it with semicolon, save, and when I run it, enter the first number. Let us give 5 as the first number and second number as 6. So you can see your 6 is greater than 5 gets printed over. Now you may ask, what if they are equal? Yes, we can also do that. We can also check whether both the numbers are equal. If first number is equal to, note that we use double is equal to operator to compare first number and second number. First number is equal to second number, enter, and now see out. I want to print see out. First number is equal to the is equal to second number. Save. When I run it, let me give first number as 2, second number as 2. You see here 2 is equal to 2. It checks all of these conditions. So yes, this is the program to check the greatness between the two numbers. Now, suppose we want it to execute continuously until the user wants to stop it. For that, we'll be using, like I've told you, while loop, making use of loops, while loop. So let me create bool keep going or anything such as, for your understanding, let me give the name as keep going. You can give any other name also. Set to true, and all of this must be written basically from here. Yes, all of this must be written in a while loop. Keep going, open brace, one more brace, wait a second, now one more brace must be over here. Yes, while keep going, all of this gets printed, goes into a loop. Now we also don't want the infinite loop. So for that, I'll be creating another variable called as int answer, set to 0 initially, or else you can just keep it as int answer only. Now by making use of another if statement, if before that we'll ask the user whether he or she wants to continue or not. See out, do you wish to continue or not? Yes. Then after that, the if statement, if the no, before that, to take the input from the user, we'll be making use of cin function and angle brackets, store the value in answer. Yes. Now we'll type an if statement. If answer is equal to 0, we'll set keep going, value is equal to false. Yes, that's it. Now when I save it and when I run it, enter the first number 1, second number 2. So yes, we have to separate it in the next line. Let us make use of a new line here. In all the statement, I have to make use of a new line to avoid unnecessary interaction between any two statements. And it also looks very neat. Yes. Now I'll save it and run it. Enter the first number 1, enter the second number, let us give us 2. Do you wish to continue or not? And type any other number other than 0. It will again enter into the loop. So suppose I type 1, again it asks me enter the first number. Let me write it as 3 and 3. Do you wish to continue or not? When I type 0, wait a second. There is some error. Yes. So we have to make a use of the double equal to operation to check whether we have typed 0 or not. So let me show you with an example. When I run it, enter the first number, let us say to be 1, second number is 2. You can see here 2 is greater than 1. Do you wish to continue or not? When I type 0, it exits out of the while loop, and yes, that's it. Now for your exercise, let's create a game where you have to guess the number, where the user must have to guess your number. Okay, let us create a game where the user must have to guess the number that you have stored. For that, let's start with including the library, standard library, that is hash include IOStream. Yes. Now we'll be using the cout and scene function. For that, cout standard scope resolution, cout operator, and semicolon. Similarly, using standard cin and semicolon. Now our execution of the program begins from int main. Sorry, int main. Yes. Now let us consider our answer as answer is equal to 3. User must have to guess until they have guessed your answer as 3. So I'll be creating another variable as int guess and another boolean variable not guessed is equal to true. Yes. Now I'll make use of while not guessed enter the while loop. While not guessed will make here use of if statements. If so, we have to ask the user to enter the guess. Cout enter your guess. C in guess. So, C in guess. So when the user will enter his guess, the value will get stored in this variable guess which we have declared over here. No. Let's make use of if statements. If guess is greater than 3 or greater than answer, we can write we can print as cout too high. Too high from, or we can write as too far from the correct answer, and \n and terminate with semicolon. Similarly, we can make use of another if statement where guess is less than answer and print too low from, wait a second, I forgot about the double inverted commas, too low from the correct answer, \n, double quotes and a semicolon. Now another condition arises where guess is equal to answer. If guess is equal to answer, in that condition we can type as yay, you guessed it right. And also if guess is equal to answer, we can make use of will assign not guessed is equal to false. When I save it and when I run it, it asks me about enter your guess. Wait a second, I have not make use of \n over here, and I'll save it again. Now I will run it. Enter your guess. Let me guess 7. Wait a second, there's, yes, let's continue. See, when I save it and run it, let me enter my guess as 1. You can see here too low from the correct answer. Now when I enter 2, it again shows me too low from the correct answer. Now when I type 4, it shows me too far from the correct answer. When I type 3, it says yay, you guessed it right. And it also exists from the while loop. So that's it for today's lecture. See you tomorrow.